Hi YouTube friends, it's Lee here. Welcome to my studio, and I want to just have a little bit of a play around in my Arteza, what do you call it? It's an art journal, I guess, but it's lovely paper. It's a watercolor paper, watercolor journal. I did this painting these pages a couple of months back. I don't know whether I put it on YouTube or not, but these ones I did during winter when it was a bit cooler, and they make me feel all warm and fuzzy. Well, today I need something to cool me down, so I'm going to go for a different colour palette, and I've chosen some greens. So these are craft paints. So I've got a turquoise, viridian, grass green, forest green and green. I've also got phthalo blue, which is a greeny blue, and then as my contrasting colour I've got purple. So I just thought I'd do something similar to this type of thing, just a bit of fun, you know. So I've got a variety of paintbrushes, and I've got my Catalyst wedge. I think I'll work on this page, and I've got one of my silicone brushes just to see how that compares to the Catalyst wedge. I've got a towel to dry my brush with, and then I have my rinsing water here. So I want to just get some colours down on this. Let's get them over here out of the way. Just some of these greens down on the page. I may end up going over to the side, I'm not sure. So I'm going to put on some of the lightest ones first. And I haven't used these very often. That's why the little stopper's still in there. Alrighty. So I'm just going to squirt some straight onto the page. Spread it around with that wedge. Wasn't sure how much would come out, but I wasn't expecting that. That's very pale, this one. So I hope you've all been having a wonderful weekend, and I'm glad you all liked that Halloween book that I did. That was fun, really fun. So what I'm going to do is start with light colours, and then I'm going to put darker ones over the top. So I'm just going to spread that and make it really thin. And one of the reasons I want to do that is so it dries quicker. Although it's so hot today, it shouldn't take very long to dry at all. So now I'm going to go for Viridian, which is a bit of a, well, it's a really potent colour, so I just want to put a couple of drops on to start with. Come out, and then I'll see how far it's going to spread. This is just my background. You can see how vibrant that is. There's something on this, and it's making a mark in the middle of my paint. I wonder if it's that. It's better. Didn't clean it after the last time I used it. I'm not very good at cleaning my things. So you can hear the window rattling there. It is so hot today. Well, it's probably not as hot as I'm imagining it. I just don't cope very well with the heat these days. Let's go over this over here a bit. Whoops. Whoopsie. Not quite that much, but anyway. Yeah, it's been really hot and windy. It's like bushfire conditions, I reckon. This is when we get bushfires. We've got that heat and the wind. So still something making a mark. Let's go back to the wedge. I don't know which one's working the best. Anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to take this round brush and I've dipped it in a bit of water. I want to see if I can just fill in those things there. I might have to get a little bit more paint out. Something's banging outside, I'm not sure what that is, or whether you can hear it or not. I like the way those colours look together. So I'm going to go back and put some of that lighter colour in here. I'm just going to use the round brush to spread it. And one more colour. Let's just go this grass green, see what that looks like. I don't think this has been used, this one. Oh. That's quite a nice colour. Don't put it back in there. And spread that around a bit. Just a touch over here so that it's bringing those two pages together. And I'm fine with a bit of white space showing. Okay, so I'm just going to get a piece of paper and put it underneath these ones. And I also want some white paint, which I forgot to bring over to the table with me. So I'll just use gesso. Don't need that anymore. So I'm just going to put some, oh no, just play with the brush. See what I end up with. Switch to a slightly smaller brush. And I'm going to take some of this dark colour here, the phthalo, no, that was Forest Viridian, that's the one I was after. Is that the one? Yeah, that's the one I want. And I'm just going to put some over here. I'm just going to put it straight onto my my silicone mat there. Oh, I might just do some circles to be different. When do I never do circles? My favourite thing to do. You might turn them into flowers or something else. So I'm just taking them all the way across. And then I want to go back and get one of the colours from here and put it over to here. So I'm going to use that grass green. This reminds me of diving into water. Nice cool swimming pool and the bubbles come up. so the next colour I want to do something with is this turquoise. Put a little bit in there. Because this is a fairly transparent colour, I'm putting an extra coat on just to make it stand out a little bit more. Now I'm going to introduce some phthalo blue. Which is another summery, watery, like fresh watercolour. What I'm going to do with that is put a little bit of white in it. Just taking a little bit of that gesso, putting it on my mat there. So this colour really changes when you add white to it. Can you see that? I don't think you can see that, can you? Oh, sorry, I thought you could see my palette. Let me tip this up a bit. Ugh. There we go. I don't know what that is. Bit of gesso, I think. Okay, so yeah, so that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when I add a bit of white into it. This way. So I'm just going to go in and just make some of these into flowers. It must be underwater flowers. So I'm going to put that colour on these turquoise ones, phthalo blue ones. Okay. So I'm just going to put pure white in there now. Just going to go in between. I'm not fussed about them not being all the same size, that sort of jazz. Just relaxing and having just a little bit of fun with the paint. Oh, I missed one there. Never mind. Because I'm using the gesso instead of white acrylic, I might have to go back and put a second coat on because gesso dries a little bit transparent. And I'm not worried about it going over the top of other flowers. That's fine. I'm just going to turn the book around and work on the ones on this side. So my brush stroke is, because it's a little round brush, I'm just putting it onto the page lightly to start with and then applying a little bit of pressure and pulling it off. makes that petal shape. It's also a good one to use for leaves as well. So I would now like to use some of that aqua colour and just do another coat on here because they've dried quite light. You'll be able to see them. Oops. I'll just put the paintbrush in the white. No biggie. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is just, where are they? There's only a few of them there, which is these light grass green ones. Not really standing out very well. Okay. Just going over them with the turquoise. The reason I'm doing that is I thought because the turquoise is nice and transparent that the green might look nice coming through the turquoise. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to get some purple out now. Do a little bit more mark baking. I think I should put some white in that purple. Might make it a little bit more opaque. Okay, and I'm just going to put some lines inside these turquoise circles. Those colours are working so beautifully together. Okay, so now I'm going to get some of the purple undiluted and just go around and put some dots. Okay, so up here I'm going to take some of that Viridian and I'm just going to do something up in this corner. I'm just feeling flowers, so that's what you're getting. I'm flowery. And let's put a little bit of white in that paint. Just what's already just left on the brush. Go in and make a couple of lighter petals. So I haven't added any more of the green to the brush, just a bit of white. Okay, and I might just put a blob of white right in the middle, like that. And when I do something with the inside of these circles, I also need to go over some of the whoops, some of those white petals, but I'll do that a bit later on. How about I go a bit of this green in some of them, just a few dots. Just use up this green paint. So I'm going to put them in where they will show up. So that's on the lighter colours. So trying to find contrast. So over here. Where else? Wonder how it'll go on this dark stuff. Maybe if I put a bit of white in it, might be better. Scrape a little bit of that white away. Because sometimes when you add white, it just makes such a difference to the colour, as well as gives it more contrast. Stands out a bit better. And these are supposed to be dots, but they're looking a bit like petals, aren't they? What happens when we mix purple and green together? Let's see what this looks like. It's not that great. It's okay on those. Doesn't matter, just playing around. Let's get that paint off. I'm just going to use it up down here. Squeezing the paint out of the brush onto the page. And give it a good rinse. Okay, so I'm going to go back and get some more white. Take that because it's cleanish-ish. Go over these to make them stand out a bit more. Just going to mix a bit of that turquoise in with that white. There's a little bit of green there as well. I'm just going to circle the insides of these. Just adding a little bit of water to my brush just to make it flow off the paint flow off the brush a little bit easier. And I just thought of something. I've got a little white bottle full of paint, squeezy bottle. I'm going to get that. I've got to remember where it is. Can't be too far away. So I don't know where my little bottle of white paint is. A victim of my cleanup, no doubt. So I've got a white Posca pen instead. See, shaky old hands. Oops. I bet if I wanted that to come out, it wouldn't. Yeah, see? There we go, a little bit. I like this flower. I want to do another one of them somewhere. Could I do one right next to it? Probably good. It's my painting, my play, so I can really do what I want, I guess. So let's start here. So this is just drawing ink. It's waterproof. I just sort of feel like that's just about done, but I just happen to have on my desk some watercolors in these beautiful greens, which just fit in perfectly with the colors that I'm using and the feel, the vibe that I've got going with this one. So I'm going to add some water to these. Oh, that brush is hard as a rock. What have we got here? Got a watercolor mop here. I'm just going to go in and activate a couple of these. Let's go this turquoise colour and just splatter a bit of watercolour over this just to finish it off. I mean, I could sit here for ages and keep fiddling with it, and I probably will after I turn the camera off. I'll probably keep playing with it, but for you guys, I think I'll just do this and call it a day. You can see that watercolour is mixing with the ink over there. And I reckon some white splatter. Oh, I've got enough on there now. I'll have to get some more out. Actually, I've got some made up. So this is, I keep this on the go all the time, and it's just watered down gesso. That's what I do a lot of my splattering with. That'll do. Well, I think that's lovely and refreshing. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Have a go. It's really easy, and you don't need much equipment to do this. So these are just cheap craft paints. I think I bought the set of about 40 off Amazon, and I think it was less than $40. So that's Australian. So if you're in America, that's probably only $28 or something. Yeah, so they're not brilliant, but they do the job, and they're fun to use, and there's a great array of colour. So I do feel a little bit more refreshed since doing this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you in another video soon. So hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo.